Welcome back to Let's Play Darkest Dungeon. I'm your host, Timepants, and today I might sound a little bit different. I have been dealing with some recording issues, specifically audio recording issues, for a while, so I decided the old ways are the best ways. So I'm going back to my original method of recording, and hopefully this will be a little bit better. So, we are going to be taking a party that was actually requested a while ago. This is a very tanky party. It's going to feature John Cena, the best. Obviously, accuracy is sort of the biggest issue, and this enhances the value of the leper's already high hit point total, and, you know, we might get some use out of protection as well. This Bidet, our man-at-arms, he's mainly there for mobility, so one of the sore spots that I kind of predict for this party is back row reach, so always being able to get Corvusor into range so he can do a lunge attack, or a holy lance, if you will. This is going to be ideal for maintaining the party structure and keeping damage output high, and also getting those hard-to-reach enemies in the back rows. Finally, healing, you know, never goes out of style. So, let's get going. Yes, we have enough provisions here. Or, I'm sorry, we have enough invitations, and we're going to have enough provisions as well. I don't predict that healing is going to be a sore spot for us, but, you know, it never hurts to just be prepared. So, let's go ahead and stack everything high. And yeah, I have now lost like 4 episodes to the ether as a result of some janky, just some jank in general with my recording equipment. So that sucks so much. So I am going to be back at it now. I hope this sounds okay. But if it sounds at all, then it's a step up from what I had been using. What is that? That is a time-honored favorite, Boulevard, 6th glass quadruple ale. Just a wonderful beverage, all 10.2% of its alcohol by volume. Just lovely. Alright, so I think I'm going to predict that mercifully this is going to join up, so we'll see. And oh right, yeah, we were doing so well on our last voyage in here that actually, did I see that? Did I actually see that and still step into it? Oh my god, I did, didn't I? Okay, so takeaway here is maybe the Crusader should start in the front. I don't know. That's, I guess, a bit of an oopsie, but I don't think there are too many too many enemy party compositions that like routinely have 2 or fewer enemies. So I'm gonna cut myself a little bit of slack on that. Another thing that I think is going to kind of be a little rough about this party is I think damage might be at a bit of a premium. Now, maybe I am completely barking up the wrong tree about that, but I don't know, when like, don't get me wrong, the leper's damage output is outrageous, and it's only gotten better as the game has been through its, I don't think I need to mess with that, been through its many iterations, but the Crusader, I mean, his real value as a, I think we go ahead and camp, I think his real value as a damage dealer is if you're in one of those,
without kindling is a goal without hope.
I mean, let's, no, that is needlessly wasteful. Yeah, I mean, if he's fighting Unholy, his his damage output is second to none. I mean, don't get me wrong, but this might be a little bit overkill. Yeah, his damage output is second to none. Now that said, we're not fighting any unholy. We're fighting only bloodsuckers. I think all the value here in this camp is going to come from our man-at-arms. So, I think we can, in fact, be ambushed. So, let's see here. Let's see. Well, I don't think there's any real value here. This will knock off one stress, and this will knock off one stress, and I guess that's valuable, or more valuable than this, which does nothing. Okay, so how do we want to do this? Bless is still something to consider, possibly on Bidet. Let's see. Beautiful. Yeah, we got maximum value out of that. Manage equipment, probably a worthwhile option there. And do we have anything that we can do? Pep talk. One companion gets less stress. Since you have one stress, and since you're in the front row, probably going to be taking the most hits, so yeah, let's make that you. Alright. Sick, nasty.
Gold,
really? I did not know that you could get 2 of those. Well, that's insane. That bodes really well. Yeah, we won't mess with him since we don't have any actual carrying capacity. So, what are my goals for this run? Well, let's see here. I'd say, first and foremost, I just want to fight the Crocodilian. I think this party is fairly well suited to it. I wouldn't say that they're the ideal crew, but I don't think they're too much behind that. So let's see here. Why don't we try this, and then we'll hope to get 1 kill with the leper. Well, that moves you out of range. That's a little bit annoying, but there we go. Okay, we got 1 kill. The damage output from the leper is probably going to carry us through a lot of this. Jesus. Well, let's take care of that. Honestly, I wasn't expecting that to be so punishing. A kill would have been really nice. Did I forget to bandage her? I did. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Okay. Well, that's annoying. Still, health is overall pretty good. Stress, I think, is still very, very manageable. Something we need to be aware of, obviously, but I don't think it's a huge deal here. I am so sorry about that. Dazzling Light. The stun chance is high enough, I think. Yeah, it's worth it. And you. Yeah, let's do this. This is going to get our... okay. This is going to get our Crusader back in the back row. Perfect. Well, that was a lot of damage. that is troubling. Okay, fortunately this did link up as expected. I'm just gonna pop up to this room and then move back and keep making progress. I want to say that you can interact with this with a torch, and I thought that was stress relief for some reason. Am I crazy? Is that not stress? Unfortunate. Huh. Well, that really sucks. Ooh. You.
Obliterated.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Oh, I really wanted to kill. Okay. Yeah, let's do this. Jeez. Okay, so, I mean, everybody got back in order, but I'm starting to get a little troubled by the stress situation, and it seems like everybody here has exceptionally poor hygiene. Yeah, like, just blighted, bleeding, other nasty things that start with B. Yeah, let's do that.
Annihilated.
That might be a bit precious just to, like, get him moved back into the appropriate rank, but yeah, hopefully this doesn't drag on too much longer. And on the off chance that it does, let's go ahead and try and get ahead of this by healing. So, yeah, some of the Man-at-Arms efficacy is obviously going to be hampered by having him in the 3rd rank. But, I mean, for most of the run anyway, yeah, I think we just leave this treasure. Let's play the long game here. So maybe... What else do you do, though? Yeah. What else do you do? I think, yeah, I think we just go ahead and accept that he's going to be fighting suboptimally for, I would say, a good portion of this run. That said, damage has not been the sore spot that I thought it would be, and this is actually turning out to be pretty... This is, yeah, turning out to be a pretty well-balanced party. I have to admit that I was honestly a bit skeptical from the outset. I thought that there was a reasonably high probability of this party just completely getting its ass kicked right from the first encounter, but that really has not been the case. Now, stress, I think, is the one thing that can potentially unmake this run. I think we are concerned enough about the possibility of you guarding somebody, yeah, that it's worth taking you out. Yeah, I honestly thought that this party would lack a bit of killing power. No, that is definitely not the case. Hugh... Let's do it. I am optimistic that she can get the kill. You son of a bitch. Fuck you. And if he, I was gonna say if he got the Crimson Curse, I was gonna say the Red Plague, but that's actually something different in this game. Yeah, I was going to say if he got the Crimson Curse, because we didn't get that kill at what I would argue was sort of a crucial moment. that I was going to be pretty pissed off. Instead, I am just some pissed off.
And driven into the mud.
But yeah, I thought this party was going to hurt for killing power. I tried running this party in a non-Crimson Curse dungeon. That was actually the first video that got eaten up by my sound issues, and it did just fine, but admittedly I ran it in the ruins, so I thought that that might be what I could attribute like the very successful run to. I thought, you know, damage is a little bit harder to come by against bloodsuckers, since there's really only like one trinket that explicitly improves damage against them. But no, turns out that, yeah, even in the Courtyard, this is a well-oiled machine, to say the least. Alright, you know what? Yeah, let's just take the opportunity to heal. And Holy Lance, sick. I mean, we could have disposed of the corpses, and admittedly that would make our leper more useful in coming rounds. That said, I'm terribly unconcerned. I think that, yeah, our leper can find enough to do. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, our leper can find enough to do in the interim that, yeah, we won't be hurting for his damage. Against a single target, I think this party actually excels. Ideally, a single target in the front ranks, but, you know, nothing's perfect. Okay, so I think we camp again. Whoops, that was real dumb. And, yeah, let's go ahead and dig in. So, yeah, let's do this same as last time. There's actually no difference here between Zealous Vigil and Sanctuary, so we'll let you get involved. Alright, tactics. I mean, is there something better we can do? This might be worthwhile. And then what else would we do? Probably instruction, but I don't really see... For a single companion, I don't really see enough of a benefit. So let's do weapons practice. Ah, that sucks to lose the crit chance. Maintain equipment. Actually, I think this is probably better. Because maintain equipment, he's not really a damage dealer. I guess with riposte? Let's try this. Yeah, that at the very least takes care of a bit of an accuracy issue, gets rid of some stress, so I think we can be happy about it. Oh, good lord, do we really have to walk all that way? Oh, that sucks. That's unfortunate. Yeah. Whoops. Well, time for the doctor to have some medicine. Physician, drink thyself. So, actually, I was thinking about back when I lived in Japan. I lived in a few different places. When I first moved there, I lived in like a company furnished living area. It was an apartment. There's no need to get like super fancy about the nomenclature there. yeah, I lived in... Yeah, I lived in company furnished housing. It was a place called Leo Palace, which I don't know is... I don't know if that's like a... well, it was an apartment building, and honestly, quite small. Like my kitchen, and this was a recurring theme in every apartment that I stayed in while I was there, was a hallway in the entrance of the building, or the entrance of the apartment, which sucked. And my refrigerator was a mini fridge. Not really by any metric a truly luxurious place. Definitely not befitting of the term palace by any stretch. But yeah, I was in Nara, which is like one of the historic capitals of Japan. So we're really we're on the mountainside near a place called Mount Ikoma. It's very nice, scenic, beautiful area, and yeah, that for as tiny and as Spartan as the living was, that was miles better than what I lived in when I moved to Tokyo, and eventually what my wife and I both lived in Tokyo. Am I crazy? I thought there was something else you could do with that. Huh. That's really annoying. Okay, I think that's good enough to actually take now. So, yeah, when I moved to Tokyo after living in Japan for about a year and a half, I moved to a place called Nishiarai, and it was kind of an up-and-coming community. It was like an older community that was kind of small. It was a suburb, but it was small and quite poor. And it was being, as weird as this sounds, gentrified in Japan. They had a big apartment housing boom, and it brought in a lot of money. Brought in a lot of fairly wealthy individuals. What it also brought in was the Yakuza, because apparently the Yakuza are inextricably tied to their construction industry. I don't know. I don't know if that has always been the case, but yeah. Another thing that the Yakuza are really fond of is, and I didn't know this, hiring or recruiting Korean immigrants, and I guess that makes sense if you think about it. You moved into an entirely new area. You don't know anybody. A lot of the people is a bit of friction, let's say, between Korean and Japanese people, just historically, just some baggage there, let's say. Yeah, some baggage. Just yeah, not exactly the finest relationship. Now, that said, the Yakuza, and apparently those that they recruit, don't really have any real sense of this bad blood between them. So basically, any community where you have a lot of immigrants is bound to, especially if there's a lot of construction nearby, is bound to attract a fair number. Oh, that's annoying. That's annoying. Yeah, bound to attract a fair number of Yakuza.
Vigor is restored.
Where am I going with this? So, I also lived in company-provided housing at that time. It was worse. It was a tenement. I was actually in, like, the ghetto. Like, the actual fucking ghetto. Like, in the truest sense possible. Like, it's basically a community of immigrants that's, like, basically where you know, everybody kind of silently agreed to shove all the immigrants. And yeah, like, they say if you live in Tokyo, you live with the roaches, and that is 100% the case. Anyway, where am I going with all this? Well, do you ever have one of those moments where you're, you know, you're in the shower, and all of a sudden something, like, kind of dawns on you? You get one of those aha moments. Well, while I was in Tokyo, and this is how you can tell where somebody grew up, like what sort of situation somebody grew up in. While I was in Tokyo, there was actually a murder, like a couple of blocks from my neighborhood, or a couple of blocks from my apartment. I was actually, like, funnily enough, stopped by the police and, like, interrogated, unrelated to the murder, I think, several times. Well, 2 or 3 times in the, like, year that I was there. So obviously it's kind of a rough neighborhood. But yeah, you know, depending on who you tell that to, their reaction tends to be either, oh my god, there was a murder, like, right next to your apartment, or there's a murder there, like, like, that year, you mean? So, yeah, understandably, there's a bit of a gap there in people's reactions. But I remember there's a friend of mine who lived just below me. He was a Japanese dude who moved from Hokkaido and started living in Tokyo, you know, seeking his fortune. Nice. And one night we were out of beer, so we decided to head down to the convenience store, the Conveni, and, you know, stock up, refresh our party supplies.
Be wary.
Well, while we were walking,
Pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
there were these 2 old dudes, like, arguing with each other. Like, they looked like they were in their 70s or something like that, you know, bitterly arguing with each other, like, shouting back and forth. And it's, you know, like, it's like midnight, so obviously that's, you know, something's up there. But at the time I didn't really know what. My Japanese was not very developed at that point. But yeah, my friend basically, like, stepped in between. Is like, hey guys, you know, let's all calm down, let's settle, let's all be cool. And I guess in the presence of a couple of strangers, these yelling, like, angry old dudes stopped their fight. And one of the dudes, who turned out to be, like, a Korean immigrant, he started walking with us, you know, I guess going their separate ways, and he followed us for a couple of blocks. And he was making a lot of, like, threats and posturing, and he was like, don't, you know, that guy, doesn't he know that I'm, like, connected, that I'm, you know, part of the Yakuza? And this wasn't, at that point, even my 10th time dealing with, being in the presence of at least a self-proclaimed member of the Yakuza. Oh, shit ass. That sucks so much. And now I'm starting to worry about stress a bit. I'm starting to stress about it, if you will. So yeah, like, I was pretty nonplussed.
A devastating blow.
But, a couple of, I want to say months after the fact, that murder occurred, and the victim of the murder was, like, an old dude, like a 70-year-old Japanese man who lived in the area. And this is not going to make me sound terribly bright, but at the time I didn't think about the connection there that most of you are probably making right now, that, like, the dude that we met that night was, like, the guy that we were walking with would eventually commit a murder. I'm laughing not because it's funny that a murder happened, because it's not. That's horrific, but just holy shit, I didn't even realize that until, like, I was telling this story a couple of days ago, and I was just like, wait a minute, oh my god. So, all that to say, I lived in a very, very interesting neighborhood. It was actually pretty cool. I made friends with, like, a group of people from Nepal. They had actually moved to Japan. They, like, immigrated there and started an Indian restaurant. It was real fucking good. I went on opening day. Turned out to be a smart move, because, yeah, they hooked me up with, like, extra stuff, but, like, you know, made the curry, like, extra spicy. Like, they don't sell it like that on the menu. Like, hooked me up with free food. It was awesome, and they were really cool guys that lived in the neighborhood with me. There were people from, like, Ghana. There was somebody from Kazakhstan. Our upstairs neighbors were from China, I want to say. Anyway, yeah, it was, honestly, you don't expect, you know, Japan has this reputation of being very xenophobic and homogenous, but, and I mean, that's statistically, the homogeneity part is actually true, but yeah, that was, like, far and away one of my greatest exposures to people from other cultures, and it happened, you know, all in a completely different country. It was pretty cool. So how do we want to go about this? Half of me, stick with me here, half of me wants to seed the first round here. Just say, alright, they're gonna get their licks in on us, and that sucks, but we'll get a buff, we'll get to go first next round, and at that point we can sort the party out, because I'm quite certain that, yeah, at 18 speed, she's going to go first. She will be able to reorder the party. Yeah, let's do this. I think this is good. I think maybe an unorthodox move, but I don't think, maybe novel, maybe a bit too precious, but honestly, I think that's the smarter way of handling this. Excellent. And we have gotten kills here by the exact amount of hit points needed, which is pretty neat. Now what do? You can't really stun. And she doesn't have a real great chance of hitting it, much less getting a kill. So let's let's not outsmart ourselves after doing something that I think ended up being the right thing to do. Retribution, you you think? Yeah. Let's say yes. And now, a Hugh has a reasonable chance of getting a kill. If not, I'm going to take this. It's an opportunity for the Crusader to lose some stress. He didn't, but yeah, that ended up going really well. That could have been an absolute disaster, and I think we just kind of thought our way through the situation and figured out a good course of action. I'm proud of that. I think that went really well. Stress obviously creeping up on Corvusor and Bidet, but largely that has been managed. And we still have our camping buffs for one more encounter. Sick, nasty. Alright. This is going to be very profitable for us, at least from the blood perspective. We can smashy him, but I think I'd rather keep the shovels just in case we encounter, some... Now that I think about it, there aren't any obstacles that shovels are gonna help us overcome, so strike that. So this has now been going for about 37 minutes, and no end appears to be in sight, so I'm probably, I'm hoping that this is gonna be the crocodilian. Whether it is or isn't, I think I'm probably going to call it, because I don't want this to run on too long. You son of a bitch. Every goddamn time. Oh. Well, nah, let's keep that for our next party, which can pick up where we leave off. Yeah, all in all, very successful. Let's, how do we want to handle this? Let's do what we can to avoid these guys protecting somebody we don't want them to. Unfortunate. Really unfortunate. That went poorly. Please don't stun. That would be bad. That isn't a stunning attack, is it? No. No, I was mistaken. Okay. I think we can reasonably expect to get a kill here. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I think this is fine. I was a little bit worried about this. Obviously, the constant protection here is a bit annoying, but... Yeah, let's do this. Hopefully we get a pushback. We'll get a kill. We'll remember to bandage this time. We will get a kill. Sick. And... look pretty good going into what I hope is going to be the final round of combat. Obviously, getting everybody into position to sort of close this thing out might be a touch difficult. Yeah, that's annoying. There we go. We'll, yeah, at least get... Here, let's do this. Let's polish up one. Nope, that was dumb. That was dumb. You shouldn't have done that. That was really stupid. Why would anybody do that? That was idiotic. Like, fortunately, he moved himself back into position. That was still really, like, ridiculously stupid. Okay, so that encounter didn't go so well, and I'm thinking we might be getting to about time to make our exit here.
A momentary abatement.
Well, let's just say, message received. Message received. We won't, we won't need to go too much farther than that. I think I've learned my lesson. Also, this is really annoying. I don't know when this change took place, but you have to use the right mouse button to, like, scroll this, and like it always recenters when the map opens up. That's annoying. I wish that would stop. That said, good run, all in all. I think we can be very proud of what we've accomplished here today. Let's camp, because I don't think... Do we get to keep the camping log? I don't remember. On the off chance we do, let's just bail. All right, so what did we learn today? We learned not to judge a party's efficacy strictly on its ability to reach the back rows. Good lord, what were these two up to? Yeah, don't judge a party strictly based on how well it can reach the back rows. The Yakuza recruits heavily in immigrant-rich areas, and you can get really good Indian food in Nishiadai. Just look for a place called Tika. I hope that I get a free meal for plugging the place. If I ever go back to the country. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.